paid advertising. I saw this ad the other day. It was so bad it was almost good, almost brilliant. It was for tax software. And it had this llama, right? This llama wearing sunglasses. I mean, talk about memorable. But obviously, we want ads that are effective, not just weird. So that is why I am so excited to have our expert with us today. They are here to help us break down this marketing strategy documents packed with info, choosing the right platform, setting a budget, figuring out how to measure your results. So let's jump in and talk platforms first. But if you were just starting out, which platform would you be most excited to explore and why? That's a great question. If I were just starting out with paid advertising, I'd probably go with search engine ads. Social media is definitely more visual and can be really eye-catching, right? But search ads have a big advantage when it comes to intent. Think about it. When someone searches for a specific product or service, they're already thinking about buying, and that makes them much more likely to actually convert. Oh, that's a really interesting point. I always thought of social media as the more targeted option, but you are right, someone actively searching is already showing they're interested. Okay, so let's say we have our platform picked out, but then there's the budget question, which can be a bit scary, to be honest. Yeah, this document talks a lot about ROI, about getting the most bang for your buck. But how do you even begin to set a realistic budget if you're just starting out? Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It all comes back to that ROI, that return on investment. And a big mistake a lot of people make is just jumping in without really figuring out what they want to achieve. So before you even think about numbers, you need to ask yourself, what am I hoping to get out of this campaign? Are you going for brand awareness? Do you want to drive traffic to your website? Or are you focused on direct sales? Each of those goals will need a different approach when it comes to your budget. So for numbers, we need crystal clear goals. Got it? That makes a lot of sense. It's true, there are so many options. It's like a maze sometimes. One method that I think is super powerful but often overlooked is time-based targeting. People act differently online depending on what time of day it is, even what day of the week it is. Oh, wow. I never thought about using time as a targeting tool. Okay, so we have the platform, we have the budget, we have our laser focus on the right audience. But how do we know if any of it is actually working? All those metrics, all those acronyms, it could be so confusing. Where do you even begin? I know, it can definitely seem complicated, but it doesn't have to be. Once you break it down, it's not that bad. So remember those clear objectives we talked about. Your KPIs, your key performance indicators, should be directly related to those goals. If your goal is brand awareness, you'll want to track things like reach, impressions, how many people are seeing your ads. If your goal is driving traffic to your website, then click-through rate is the metric you'll want to focus on. So the metric should be telling us a story about how well we're doing with reaching those initial goals. Exactly, you got it. And if you're all about driving sales, then you want to watch your conversion rate and RLAS really closely. Conversion rate tells you how many people who clicked on your ad ended up buying something, while RLAS, or return on ad spend, tells you how much revenue you're getting for every dollar you spend on advertising. Basically, you want to make sure your ads aren't just getting clicks, but are actually driving real, tangible results. Okay, that makes those metrics feel a lot less intimidating. So we've covered the basics: picking a platform, setting a budget, figuring out your target audience, and how to actually measure your success. But there's so much more to uncover, especially when it comes to creating ads that people actually want to engage with. We're going to get into the art of crafting compelling ad copy. We'll talk about the power of visuals and storytelling, and we'll uncover some secrets to creating ads that don't just grab attention, but also inspire action. Don't go anywhere. Things are about to get really interesting. And it's constantly changing. See it, right? It's a dynamic process. This whole paid advertising thing, so you got to stay adaptable. It's so true. So true. All right, let's shift gears a bit. We've talked a lot about the strategic side of paid advertising, but what about the actual ads themselves, the creative part? We know how to target, we know which platforms to use, but how do we create an ad that really stands out? And there's so much content out there. How do you make yours cut through the noise? Yeah, that's the million-dollar question. You got to strike that perfect balance, grab attention, make your value proposition clear, and then get people to actually do something. It's like a movie trailer. You need a good hook, a little glimpse of the story, and then a reason for people to want to see more. Or I love that analogy, the movie trailer approach to ad creation. So let's break it down, starting with that hook. How do you make someone stop scrolling and pay attention? Especially when they're bombarded with so much content all the time. Do think about those Super Bowl commercials. The ones everyone's talking about the next day. They're often funny or surprising. It's intended to even ease a bit of controversy. But the point is, they make you stop and pay attention. Now, obviously, you probably don't have a Super Bowl budget. But you can still use those same principles. Maybe start with a bold question that challenges something in your industry, or use a really striking visual that breaks up that monotony of scrolling through a feed. The key is to be unexpected and make sure it's super relevant to your audience. So know your audience and give them something they won't expect, somebody that'll make them look twice. Exactly. You got to understand their pain points, their desires. What kind of content are they already consuming? If you can tap into that, your ad will resonate a lot more. Think about color psychology. Bright colors can convey energy, excitement. While blues and greens can be more calming, they can build trust. And don't underestimate the power of white space. With so much clutter online, a clean, simple design can actually stand out more. It's like a visual breath of fresh air. Okay, so we've got the hook, we have the visuals. Now we need the words to tell the story. For sure, copywriting is so important. Again, this is where understanding your audience is key. Are you talking to tech people? They might appreciate some data and jargon. Or maybe you're targeting a more casual audience. You probably want to use humor, make it relatable. Your copy needs to match your audience's tone and style. It's like you're speaking their language, not just talking at them. And of course, we need a call to action, that final nudge to get people to actually do something. Yes, and with a call to action, clarity is key. You want to be crystal clear about what you want people to do. Do you want them to shop now? Learn more. Get a free quote. Use strong action verbs and try to create a sense of urgency. Maybe offer something for a limited time, or use a countdown timer. And don't be afraid to test different calls to action. Feel what works best for your audience. Always testing, always refining. How can storytelling help make ads not just persuasive, but also memorable, emotionally engaging? Think about those classic ads everyone remembers, the really iconic ones. They often tell a story. They don't just sell a product. They tap into those universal emotions. Joy, nostalgia, sometimes even a bit of fear. Imagine you're selling a fitness tracker. Instead of just listing features, you could tell a story about a busy parent who used it to get healthy and how it helped them spend more quality time with their family. Suddenly, it's not just a gadget, it's a way to live a happier life. You're creating an emotional connection. Exactly, and that emotional connection is powerful. It can really build brand loyalty. People are more likely to remember and engage with brands that tell stories that resonate with them, like you're inviting them into the brand's world. Yeah. In our final segment, we're going to be exploring some more advanced optimization strategies. We'll look at the latest trends in paid advertising, and we'll even talk about what the future holds for this ever-evolving field. Stick around, we've got even more insights to uncover. All right, welcome back. We've talked about how to create those awesome ads, but now let's talk about optimization, how to really make them shine and get the most out of your campaigns. Optimization, yes. Now this document mentions things like tweaking bids and analyzing data constantly. Yeah, but for someone who's not a data expert, where do you even start? You don't have to be a data scientist to optimize effectively. Most platforms have these really user-friendly dashboards. They break everything down for you. The important thing is to go back to those clear objectives we talked about. Let's say you're trying to get people to your website. You'll want to focus on your click-through rate. If it's not what you want it to be, try playing around with different ad copy, different visuals. Sometimes even small changes can make a big difference. So it's all that experimenting and seeing what works best. Exactly. It's about making small improvements, little by little. Don't be afraid to really dig into the details. Look at who's clicking on your ads. Are they the people you're expecting? If not, maybe you need to adjust your targeting a bit. It's like fine-tuning an instrument to get that perfect sound. Yes, exactly. And speaking of fine-tuning, let's talk about landing pages. You can have the most amazing ad in the world, but if the landing page it goes to is confusing or it doesn't match the ad, you're going to lose potential customers. It's like leading someone to a beautiful storefront, but then the door's locked. Right. You want to make sure that landing page matches the message and the look of your ad. Make sure your call to action is clear and easy to find. That seamless experience from the ad to the landing page can really boost your conversions. Now, we've covered the basics of optimization, but this document also hints at some really cool cutting edge trends. What are you most excited about when you think about the future of paid advertising? Personalization, definitely. People are tired of seeing generic ads, right? The brands that are going to stand out are the ones that can create these really personalized experiences. Imagine using data and AI to show ads that are tailored to a person's interests, their past purchases, maybe even the time of day. Well, it's like having a personal shopper for the entire online world. Exactly. And this ties into another exciting trend, which is interactive advertising. Ads that are more than just static images and text. Think about ads that let you play games, take quizzes, or even try on products virtually. It's all about creating an experience, not just delivering a message. That sounds way more engaging than just a regular old ad. Oh, yeah, for sure. And we can't forget about video. Short, engaging video ads are everywhere these days, especially on social media. Think about platforms like TikTok, where creativity and authenticity are so important. It's a great way for brands to show their personality and connect with people in a more human way. It sounds like the future of paid advertising is all about experiences, storytelling, and making real connections. Absolutely. That's where it's all headed. The brands that can do that, those are the ones that are going to succeed in the long run. Well, I think we've officially navigated the world of paid advertising. We've talked about everything: choosing the right platform, creating compelling ads, targeting, optimization, all of it. And as our expert has said, the key is to keep learning, keep adapting. The world of paid advertising is always changing, but if you have the right strategies and you're willing to experiment, you can really unlock its power to connect with your audience and achieve your goals. Now, before we go, I want to mention something that's really relevant to what we've been talking about today. The next chapter of this document is all about building communities across platforms. It's a natural next step, especially when we're talking about those genuine connections. So if you're interested in taking your brand beyond just transactions, if you want to build a loyal following of engaged customers, you won't want to miss it. Until then, happy advertising.